So now we'll begin with the glacial landforms, right? So we have completed glacier and some basics about glacier. So UPSC asked about glacier, types of glacier, how they are formed, how they move. You will be able to write them nicely, right? So this is the main topic, glacial landforms. So it will keep coming in the paper every alternate year, whether it is IFS or it is civil services mains, right? So like all other landforms, we will classify all of the geomorphic agents. We will classify the landforms as either erosional or depositional, and it also has some fluvio glacial, right? We also discussed this fluvio aeolian landforms in aeolian landforms, right? So in that fluvio desert landforms, we discussed about what badlands, and we also discussed about bolson, which has three features, impediments. There was Playa Lake, right, and Bahada. So I hope you have revised all that. So now we'll start with the glacial landforms. So firstly we'll begin with the erosional landforms, right? So these are the seven names. So see, what is the challenge with geomorphology is that they will ask a question of maybe 15 marker. Sometimes they may ask even of 10 marker, but they will ask mainly in 15 and 20 markers. Write a short note on glacial landforms. So you will have to write erosional. These are the seven which I have included here. These are the depositional. Here I have mentioned two, and then there are four. So there are 13 keywords already, right? And in 20 marker, you will have like what? You will have 13-14 minutes. So in 13-14 minutes, you will have to write 13 keywords, and you have to draw one small diagram of each. So you yourself can feel that you cannot write a lot of words in geomorphology. It is a diagram driven subject, right? For civil services, geology optional. So, and the beauty of this topic is if you are able to just remember these 7-8 names and you are able to draw either 8-9 small diagrams or 2 or 3 bigger diagrams, you will get 13 out of 15 without any doubt, right? So it is because of such things people are scoring in excess of 180, 170 out of 250 in paper 1 geology, and not one or two people, but in dozen of people. Almost everyone who is writing geology through good preparation, they are scoring this in this range, right? So it is because of this thing only, right? So this is an opportunity for us. So firstly we'll begin with the erosional features, right? So the most important erosional feature is U-shaped valley, right? So valley, you understand valley, na? Where the glacier flow. So the shape of the valley is U-shaped, right? So nothing important here. You just have to say U-shaped valley, and you should write that glacier forms a U-shaped valley, right? So this is even a common question in civil services interview, or even in any geology interview. You go, they may ask you the basic question like how you will differentiate between the fluvial valley and glacial valley. So this is a very very common question. They may even ask you this in gate or jam if you are like thinking of attempting it, even the GSI prelims. So it is very simple, right? Fluvial valley are V shaped. All right, when we will read fluvial landforms, we'll see this. They are V shaped, and glacial are U shaped, right? So these something like this. So I have this figure. So a valley carved by glacier is normally U-shaped, and a valley carved by river is a V-shaped one. All right. So you can see this is a glacial. This diagram. This is a mountain, and this is a glacier valley basically. So see, so smooth one, not much deep, but it is relatively broad one. All right, and not much deeper. And this is something which you can draw, right? So this is a feature of uh, the glacial valley. Then the second landform is hanging valley, right? So hanging valley is nothing but it is a tributary valley. All right. So suppose we have a main glacier valley. All right, main glacier valley, and from the mountains, just like what happens with the river, now we have small tributaries of glacier. So these tributary valley are known as hanging valley, right? So like these are at the higher elevation. This is at a lower elevation. But I'll show you an animation for this. See this. So this is a glacier. This is a glacier. This is the crest of the mountain. So they are coming. All right. This and they are merging, and then from the mountains only some other glacier are joining in. You can call them as just like tributary of a river. You can call them as tributary of this glacier. So these features, these valley, we call them hanging valley. Right. I hope you are able to see this animation on your screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So is it clear, right? So this is just a hanging valley. These landforms is hanging valley, right? Then this third landform is this cirque. All right, cirque. So it is nothing. See, suppose this is a this is a bedrock. All right, and this is glacier ice. So it is just an what I have written here is armchair shaped depression, right? Armchair shaped depression or a hollow. All right. So this is on the wall of the mountain. So like it is just like a scoop of ice cream. Now like whenever we order a cone of ice cream, the guy who is selling the ice cream, he just take a scoop of ice cream from the packet he have, right? So it is like the glacier has taken a scoop of this mountain, all right, along with it. So when this ice will vanish, you will get this depression. All right, this when this will melt away, you will just get this depression. So you can say that this is an armchair like, or it is a scoop of ice cream like thing. All right, so it is a circular depression at the head of the valley glacier, and it happens due to plucking action. All right. So this we have read the erosion. Na, we have read erosion, either plucking, either abrasion. So you can write why, like as an additional point, you can write that U-shaped valley will be formed by what? It will be formed by plucking only. All right, by the plucking action, something like that. So here it is formed by plucking action. So see, this is it. This is a mountain. All right. So see, you can ask me, sir, there is no glacier here. How you are including this in glacier landform, right? So what it is, there might not be any landform today, but there could have been a landform maybe during the ice age. There could have been a glacier during ice age. All right. So all this would have been covered with glacier. So what is your role as a geologist when you go to a field? Somebody would ask you that what is the history of this? What is the history of? Has anybody asked to join or what? All right. Oh, there was a little misconnection. Right. I hope you are able to see the screen.
No, sir.
Okay, okay. There was a loss of connection for a few seconds. Right. So we were discussing of this cirque. All right. So earlier there was a ice here. All right, and that ice or that glacier has taken a scoop out of this mountain, and there is a depression. This is a circular depression. So this landform we call it as cirque. Right. So here this is an armchair shaped hollow or a void with steep sides and
Sir, presentation is not visible.
oh sorry, okay. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So like I was saying that this is a mountain, right? And the glacier which was present here, it has taken a scoop out of this mountain. All right, so there is this circular depression, or you can say this is an armchair like depression. All right, with steep sides and steep back wall due to glacial erosion. Right, so this landform is known as cirque. All right, so you can draw maybe this diagram. This is an easier one to make. You just have to draw a mountain, and this is this depression it has created, and this is what ice. So it is cirque, right? Nothing like unique about it. And then there is this arete. Like, what is challenging with such landform is we don't listen these names regularly. We don't listen cirque, we don't listen horn or arete, or this is what bugs grunt, something like them, but they're very logical. The only difficulty is just remembering their name, and if you revise them 4 5 times 6 times, they will be like cakewalk, right? And they are also important for prelims, right? Like I discussed in last class, UPSC before 2013, every year in geography section, UPSC used to ask about landforms in prelims. But since 2014, UPSC has moved more towards atmospheric, like atmosphere, oceanography, and climatology, and obviously the mapping question and geography. So UPSC can any day come back to landforms, right? So they would ask a question, and there would be four option, and they may say which of the following is not a glacier landform. All right, and the option would be, there would be cirque, there would be arete, there would be this name Berg's Crund, something like this, and then there would be something else. Maybe they will say Uvala. All right. So you have to mark Uvala because it is a groundwater based landform. So this was like very common, and this they can ask even in prelims. So you must have read G.C. Leong also for this, right? And even the NCRTs. So we are just doing those things only, but just I am organizing your content for you to score very high in geology also, right? So the fourth landform is arete, right? So arete, they are nothing but these are narrow, sharp, narrow ridges, right? These are the peaks, mountain peaks, ridges kind of structure, and they are formed due to glacial erosion. That is why they are erosional landforms, right? So I can show you an image for this. See this. So this is a glacier valley, right? Or right, and this is also a glacier valley here, right side. When these two both meets, they form this ridge. So this ridge is known as arete. Nothing more than that, right? Here also you can see, this is a glacier valley, right? This is also a glacial valley. Here, this ridge or the mountain small peak you are getting, this is arete, right? So what it is a sharp narrow ridge formed as a result of glacial erosion, right? And then here you can write something else, but this is enough. In exam you just write this definition and draw this diagram. So how you will draw the diagram? Just like this. This is a U-shaped valley, right? And here also you have a U-shaped valley. So this peak is nothing but it is arete, right? So you can draw this simple diagram. At the end of the slide also I have included my old handwritten notes, right? So you should also go through them. That time also I tried to simplify all the diagrams and draw them on paper. So after class, after going whatever you're drawing in your copy, you can also go through those 4 5 slides and see if you can add something from them to your notes, maybe especially diagrams, right? So this is arete. I hope we are clear with it. And then another landform is, we call them horn. So horn is nothing when more than two or three arete joins at a common point. What we get is, we call horn, right? So this is in horn, right? So here there is one one like glacier here, one is here, one is here. So all three four entities meeting at this point. So it is nothing but it is a, again it is a steep sided pyramid shaped peak, है ना, formed by combination of multiple aretes, right? So it is a steep-sided pyramid-shaped peak. So you can see here. So here this is an arete. This is an arete, because multiple three, four arete are merging here. So it is these are all horn, right? So not much difference between arete and horn. Just matter of terminologies, right? And then the sixth one we have is this Bergskrunt. All right, like I don't know how to spell it. It looks like a German word. If you forget one or two landforms also, no, then also you will get 13 out of 15 marks. Don't worry. But it is nothing. It just means crevasses or cracks, right? It just means cracks in the mountain. So this is a mountain, and when we get the cracks, we call them crevasses, or you can say basic, very small scale fractures, right? So before that, you can again just revise what we read. So this is a glacial landscape, right? And in this landscape we have this surge landform, right? Scooping of, like a circular depression made by scooping of the mountain or the rock by glacier, right? This is a one ridge. When multiple ridges meet, we what we get is horn, right? And these are depositional landform, which we'll read later, right? So right, and then we are also done with this Bergskrunt. So it is, you can draw the simple diagram. It is nothing but just cracks, multiple cracks in the mountain. So when you go to trekking, these are like a very challenging things. Like sometimes the accidents happens, and people tend to fall inside these cracks. So they are very deep. No? They might be even up to 40 to 50-meter deep at times, right? So if you happen to fall in them, then it becomes tricky during mountaineering or trekking, right? And then the seventh and the second last glacial landform is Roche Mountains. So it is something like mountain only. It is a small asymmetric hillocks. So Roche mountain. This is the spelling. All right. Somewhere they even out mountain only. All right. So Roche mountain. This is it. So it is nothing but it is an hill only. All right. Hill only, but this hill is asymmetric. All right. At one side it is pretty gentle and smooth, and on the other side it is very rugged and steeper, something like this. So in a glacial terrain, if you get something like this is nothing but Roche mountain. All right, so draw this diagram, like in this is the direction in which glacier is moving, right? So like we also read about in Aeolian landforms. Wind is blowing, and we got various landforms. Like this is Bashan. So this is the side A, this is the side B. So what did we call the side A and what we call side B? Anyone? Which is windward side and which is leeward side? Anyone? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I
So
Okay. So
B is lever, I think.
okay, like A is in case of wind, A is windward and V is
B.
leeward, right? So the same terminology is also here with glacier. So this is what we call it leeward side, and this one we cannot call windward because wind is not here. We can call it glacier word, right? But we don't call it glacial word. We call it stoss side. right? So this is a technical term. If you are writing these technical keywords, it will like give you very good marks, right? So this is nothing but an asymmetry. See this diagram. So this is this is the direction of ice. So in this direction is flowing. This is the straw side, right? And this is leeward side. So this is gentle and smooth, and this is like very rugged. You can see these small cracks here, and you can also see the gradient is more here. So it is steeper, and so if you get such kind of structure, we call them Roche mountain, right? So okay, this was the only diagram I had, right? So I hope there is no like any doubt over here. Just you have to write it is an asymmetric hillock with two sides. One side is the Stoss side, and another side is lee side or leeward side. So this is smooth and gentle, and the leeward side is steep and rugged. And you can draw this diagram, right? Toss side, leeward side, and here plucking dominates, and here it is more smoother. Nothing more than that, right? And then the last landform we have is the fjords, right? So it is an important landform. At some places it is spelled as FJORDS. No? So it is also some when you will read about delta, at some places they classify delta as estuaries and at fjords. All right. So in glacial areas, in areas of high latitude, this is present. Right. So what is a fjord? Fjord is a deep glacial depression which eroded to below mean sea level. All right. So these are nothing but these are depressions by glacier to below sea level. All right. So these are very famous landforms in the Scandinavian countries. What are the Scandinavian countries?
Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Finland.
Yes, yes, very good. Denmark, Finland, and Norway. All right, these area and maybe one more. What is the other? Denmark, Norway, Finland, Denmark,
Sweden.
Sweden. Yes, yes. Thank you. So these countries are Scandinavian countries, right? In the northern Europe. So this is a very common feature. If even if you open your atlas, you will have a page of on this fjord. So it's good to have like what it is. So what happens is when the floor of glacial trough, all right, in the valley in which glacier is flowing, it opens to sea. All right. So in the northern Europe, if you know the if you know the map of Europe, all right. So this is something Europe. These are the this is the Eurasia, and like this is the England, Germany, all these areas. So here we have a North Sea, right? Or maybe Baltic Sea. Baltic Sea is there. All right. Baltic Sea is there. So here, whatever the rivers or whatever the glaciers are flowing, they come in contact with the sea. All right. So the fjords are found at this junction. All right, where the glacial trough or the glacial river, you can call it opens to the sea. Right. So what happens is, like I said, glaciers are a very powerful eroding agent. So they erode their trough to even below the sea level. All right, much below the sea level. So what happens is, like in river, what happens is when the river are flowing, and this is sea. All right, this is Bay of Bengal, this is Ganga, and this is where that delta is there. All right, so the elevation of delta is what? The elevation of West Bengal, the elevation of Bangladesh, it is in how much meter? It is less than 1 or 2 meter above sea level. All right, so they are just meeting this sea. But what happens is when glacier reaches here, all right, glacier takes it to even a deeper level. It erodes it to even deeper level. This is mean sea level. So the elevation here would be -10, -20, right? So what happens is when seawater enters the ice front, whenever the ice recedes, whenever in this whenever right. So this is all ice, and this is sea level. All right, this is mean sea level. So here it is ice. When the ice recedes in summers, what happens is the sea level occupies here, occupied this space, right? So this is which is written in the text. What they have written is, it is a glacial trough which opened to the sea, and it lies below the sea level. Here, the sea water enters the ice front, right? So it is a kind of narrow estuaries only, just that the landform or the landscape there is glacial, right? So like this is a simple thing. So this you should remember, and you should write the example in Scandinavian countries. You can write those four countries name: Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark, right? So like this is done. So again, just for the revision, these are the erosional landforms. We know the cirque, it is the circular depression. Arete, it was what was arete? It was long narrow ridges formed due to glacial erosion. Then we have horn which were made up of more than no, three or four cirques, right? And then there are some other these 3 4 slides I have taken from Lawrence sir, right? So Lawrence sir prepared them, so you can go through them also. They have very good diagrams and concise definition. So but I think we have done all these things, right? We are not going to do it again, right? Fjords is this. And then he have included one another landform, he called it tarns, right? So tarns are nothing, they are small lakes, right? In upper part we had this cirque. If due to some reason, due to some rainfall, that cirque gets filled by rainwater, all right, or something like that, so we'll get a lake. So that lake is known as tarns, all right. So this depression was due to erosion, and we call it cirque. If it gets filled with water, we call it tarns. So these are the 7 or 8 important glacial erosional landforms, right? Now we'll move on to depositional landforms.